Zach Ward's with me in studio. Zach, do you have any questions at all for Mr. Valerio?
No, I don't.
No. All right.
I've got a question for you, gentlemen, though. How are you viewing the upcoming season? I mean, last year the team went 9-7. They never were able to put together more than 2 wins in a row.
Right.
They had that big opportunity to stay in the playoff hunt in the 15th week against Oakland, and they came up short in that game. What do you gentlemen think it's going to be like this year?
I think that we're not used to this in Western New York.
Cautious optimism, I think, is the general feeling everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just a Zach Ward for those of you listening. I like that. Cautious optimism. Out here, we're not used to change. We're used to the same old as fans, and we tend to accept it. And being a lifelong resident of Western New York, we're just conditioned that way. There'll be for example, the 4 Super Bowl teams at the Buffalo Bills. That was an extremely happy time as a fan. We weren't used to that. I was just going through my later years of high school and in the first few years of college at that period of time, and I remember it vividly. And it was 4 years out of 50 plus.
Right.
In between, there's a few AFC East titles, a championship game before the Super Bowl run, the AFC championship game, and I believe that was 1988. But we're just not used to it. I personally love it. I love it.
Those teams, there was a build-up to getting to the first Super Bowl. They had been in the playoffs. They were making improvement. They had acquired Jim Kelly. They felt that Bill Polian felt very strongly was the key cog in the engine, and understandably so because of the importance of the quarterback position.
Right.
But it's very interesting, the excitement surrounding Rex Ryan.
Yes. Because
I believe he's the 7th coach now since Marv Levy retired after 97.
Yeah.
And none of them have really lasted more than about 3 years. So, Rex brings a lot of, excitement and, energy to the team. But to me, it seems like he's walking into the same kind of situation he had in New York, where he doesn't have a franchise quarterback.
This is true, and I remember he signed, since he's been in there, Tyrod Taylor, getting Matt Castle through the trade. Mm-hmm. He has Roman at offensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to what he does with LaShawn McCoy as more of a power back and his sort of cutback acceleration style of running game that he has. It'll be very interesting. And what they've been saying out here in Western New York, we'll get the daily broadcast through One Bill's Drive here in our area, ESPN affiliate, WGR 550 in Buffalo, New York. They've been saying that they want to sort of put a dent into the defense and then set it up for the pass.
Right.
So, it's probably just a wear-down type of game, and then, when the defense isn't, defense falls asleep, takes a little nap, they go for the long ball. That's what we're hearing out here.
Well, people, it's been a long time. It's been over 20 years now, but people forget what a really outstanding all-around back Thurman Thomas was, okay? Yeah. And Thurman was able to catch a lot of passes coming out of the backfield. That's tremendous, cushion for a quarterback to have that kind of, safety valve, if you will. And, McCoy is that kind of a back, I think. But it's interesting because he's leaving a team that now has 5 quarterbacks in Philadelphia. And the old John Madden line was, if you had 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback.
That's true.
But Kelly, he seems like, that I guess his philosophy is, it's my system, I can have anybody kind of, run it. And, he got there, he was 10-6 with Nick Foles, he was 10-6 with Mark Sanchez last year, and I guess he thinks he can go to the next level, this year. the Bills, the backbone of their team last year was certainly defense, and their defense should be strong again this year.
Right, and I think they'll be on the field slightly lesser, which would possibly impact it more for the balance of the Buffalo Bills offensive and defensively. Joe Valerio's live with me here in the Thomas Super Radio Show on AM 1440 WJJL, author of Second to None, The Relentless Drive and the Impossible Dream of the Buffalo Bills. Book is
the Super Bowl Buffalo Bills.
That's right, the Super Bowl Buffalo Bills. The 4-year chronicalization of the Buffalo Bills. You can check it out on TriumphBooks.com. The final topic, NFL Draft. What do you think the Bills need? We all know it's a quarterback, but what else do you think they need strengthening on?
I think they probably are anything they can do to bolster their offense, okay? I think their defense is in a pretty solid place, okay? I'm not so sure how set they are in the offensive line, but offensive linemen, are vital. And they can make a quarterback's life an awful lot easier. And I'm sure they're taking a good long look at that, but they don't have until the 50th pick, if I'm correct, right?
That is right.
The 50th pick in the draft. So, they're going to have to, they're not going to have the pick of the litter. Let's put it that way. They're going to have to, see what's available, and
it is a very.
They may just go for the best available athlete at that point in time.
A very strange draft indeed for the Buffalo Bills. I was hoping, they had added 2 more quarterbacks to the roster. I was hoping that they would go for Hundley from UCLA. I think that's a wild card in the draft. I see him so much upside with him, Brett Hundley coming out of UCLA, and I just don't know. They've been tight-lipped about it. They've been saying it. One Bills drive. Let me say that 10 times fast. What they've been saying is, we'll take calls, we'll field calls, we might even trade, but we're not sure. They're not giving us anything, and that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to that.
Well, I would hope one thing, that they don't give up on E.J. Manuel. I mean, this rush to judgment now with quarterbacks is mind-boggling to me, okay? Very few quarterbacks come in and, achieve great success overnight the way Dan Marino did, in his second year, and he threw a record like, what was it, 48 touchdown passes back then?
Right.
I mean, and went to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's everybody always talks about when they come from college to the pros, the speed of the game, and there's just no way to prepare for that, okay? And, it's a big adjustment. I'm not saying some guys don't step in and do really well, but the expectations are so great now on these young quarterbacks. It's almost unfair.
Joe Valerio, I want to thank you very much for your time here in the Thomas Super Radio Show on AM 1440 WJJL. His book is entitled Second to None, The Relentless Drive and the Impossible Dream of the Super Bowl Buffalo Bills. TriumphBooks.com and anywhere else they can get the book, Joe.
BarnesandNoble.com, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com. Go for it. I think your fans of Buffalo will really, really enjoy it. It's a really fun read through their glory years.
Thank you very much. You take care. All the best.
All the best to you. Have a wonderful day, guys.
You too.
Thank you.